to my social experiment. I'm the piano encourager. I'm learning to play this keyboard here. If you're new to my channel, I'm learning to play this keyboard here, and I'm hoping that through my learning journey, through the progress I'm making, that week in week out, you see the progress I'm making, that encourages you to embark on your learning journey as well. So whatever you're learning, stick with it. I hope you're making decent progress as well. But if you haven't started, what are you waiting for? There is no time like the present. Go for it. And know that I am rooting for you. Yes, we can do this. If you're new, I always play a tune. The first thing I do, I always play a tune that I've learned recently. So I attend music lessons. I do half an hour with a music teacher, and he teaches me a new piece, and he watches me, guides me on what I need to do, what I need to work on, and through the week I practice. So I'm going to play your piece first, and then I will share a nugget. I always give a nugget as well, just to keep you encouraged, just to keep you positive. So let me play this piece, and then we'll talk about my nugget for today, which is success. Okay? This is a fairly well-known piece as well. When the Saints Go Marching In. Some of you might recognize it. Okay? Let's go. Got there in the end, as per usual. So that's When the Saints Go Marching In. It's quite a famous one, I think. So what do I want to talk about today? Success. What is success to you? How do you define success? What does success look like to you? It's quite a broad subject, isn't it? Some people equate success to material possessions, how many cars I've got, how many houses I've bought, how much money I have in the bank. How do you measure success? I think you always have to give success context. You always have to give it context. So you might say, as a student, I am a success because I've got A grades in all my subjects. It could be as a teacher. In the subject I teach, 95% of my students get A to C grades. It could be as a coach, in the games that I coach. All my teams do very well. We win most of our matches. It could be as a singer. How many Grammys have I won? How many albums have I sold? That is success. Have I got a #1 album? As an actor, how many Oscars did I win? Best actor, best actress? Those are accomplishments. What have you accomplished? So that gives you success. As a student, as a teacher, you give it context before you say what the success is, before you define what the success is. But I think there's one exception to that that has no context, and that is being a human being, being a person. If you can wake up each day and you treat people with kindness, you treat people with respect, you show empathy, you show compassion to people, you have all those core values of responsibility, of integrity, of honesty, and you can show people kindness, you can ultimately treat people as you want to be treated, even if you have people that have different opinions to you. You know, this world is so messed up now. There's so much conflict. But if you can show people kindness and respect and compassion and empathy, in my book, you are a success. You are a success. If you can show up and be a decent person every day, then you are a success. You hear instances where people are so focused on pursuing success in whatever context it is. It might be their profession, it might be in something, and they're so focused on that success, they're so tunnel visioned on it, that sometimes they lose sight of being success as a human being. They're backstabbing, they're betraying people, they're kicking people out of the way because they want to accomplish that professional success, as it were. And when they finally get there, people have not a good word to say about them because you don't want to work with such a person. We all know people like that. Success as a human being and in whatever field do not have to be mutually exclusive. You can be successful as a human being and successful in whatever field or career that you choose to follow as well. I just want to share a couple of examples of that. There's a chap called Rafa Nadal, a tennis player. He's one of the greatest tennis players that's ever lived. You know, if you talk about people that played tennis, held a racket and played the sport of tennis, he's among the greatest that's ever lived. He's won countless Grand Slam tournaments, he's won Olympic gold medal, he's won so many tournaments. By any stretch, any measure, he's an accomplished, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. He used to be coached by his uncle. His uncle Tony Nadal used to be his coach and was part of a lot of Rafa Nadal's success. And I remember reading an interview, or an interview that his coach Tony Nadal, his uncle, gave about Rafa, and he said he was very proud of all Rafa's accomplishments, all the tournaments, all the major trophies he's won. You know, and this is the man who was there with him. He knows what the sacrifices it takes to win those tournaments. He said he's very proud of his nephew, of Rafa Nadal, for all those tournaments and what he's achieved in his career. But he said he was even more proud of his nephew, of Rafa, for how he's developed as a human being, for the man that he's become, the way he treats people with respect, the way he carries himself, the way he treats people with kindness, the way he shows compassion, and just what he does as a human being. And I thought to myself, wow, that he's more proud of the man, the decent human being that he is, than of his accomplishments. Because he's the man that knows that people can become successful and they lose sight of being a decent human being. The other example I want to give is of a footballer, Bukayo Saka. He plays football in the English Premiership for a club called Arsenal. I know, could have chosen a better club, couldn't he really? But that's a different story. He's a young lad. I think he's in his early 20s, Bukayo Saka. He plays for Arsenal. By all accounts, he's an accomplished footballer. To play professional football in the English Premiership is quite something. But also, he's not just playing for Arsenal, he plays for England. he's an England international. Any footballer you meet, and they'll say, what's the pinnacle of their career? Is playing for their country. And at a very young age, he's already an established England international player. He's gone to World Cup, he's gone to European Championship, he's plays at big club football, Champions League. So by all accounts, he's a very accomplished footballer, very successful footballer at such a young age. And I remember at one of these tournaments, it could have been the last World Cup, they were interviewing his England teammates, and we're just talking about the fellow teammates. And when it came to Bukayo Saka, all the players were so impressed with him, so complimentary of him. They said he's such a decent bloke, he's a decent human being, you know, he shows respect to people, he's so polite, he's kind, he's a positive person, and he's just an all-round wonderful guy. And one of the players said, actually, which was the clincher for me, said, I tell you what, if my sister was to bring Bukayo Saka home and said this is the man she was going to marry, he would in a heartbeat give his blessings, because he knows Bukayo Saka would look after his wife, would love his sister, would cherish her, and he knows that his sister would be in safe hands. And I thought to myself, that is pretty decent, isn't it? That is pretty good. To be very good in your profession, but not lose sight of being a decent human being as well. So that is so important. Always remember that you can be successful in your career, but also the foundation of success is as a human being. The other thing I was going to say was that, and I'll talk about this in some greater detail in my next video, one of my next videos, is that success is about fulfillment of potential. When you get success, when you're successful as a human being, by all means, continue to focus on success in whatever profession, whatever career you choose. But when you then define success, it's about fulfilling one's potential. I'll give you a quick example. My nephew plays football, young in his team, and they went to a tournament, and this was quite a decent tournament, very good teams, and the coach said to them, he said to my nephew's team, he said, if you play this team, this very good team, and you don't concede more than 10 goals, I'll give you a treat. So success for that team was making sure they didn't concede more than 10 goals. If you are a student and your potential is to make C's, if you accomplish those C's as opposed to in your exams as opposed to A grade, if you can do that, that is success. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. That be successful as a human being first and foremost, and then pursue and then be successful. They go together. Success as a human being and success in your chosen career, in your chosen profession, in whatever you want to do. So I hope that encourages you. Hope that gave you something to think about. So always remember, continue to aim for success in your learning journey, whether you're playing the piano or whatever it is you're doing. Continue to aim for success in your career. But always remember that you're already successful as a decent human being. You're already a success if you're a decent human being. Never forget that. So until next time,